twilight had fallen over the pine forest like a heavy curtain. The last streaks of sunlight slipped between tall trunks, turning the air a dusky orange. In the middle of a small clearing stood an old wooden cabin, its paint flaking and roof sagging, as if it had been abandoned for decades. Tonight it wasn't silent. Flames licked the window frames. Thick, black smoke curled upward into the bruised sky. At the edge of the clearing stood a small girl named Lily, no more than 10 years old. She wore a frayed yellow sweater, sleeves too long for her thin arms, and scuffed sneakers with one lace untied. She trembled, not from the autumn chill, but from something deeper. She had been walking home from school when she saw a column of smoke above the tree line, and almost against her will followed it. Now she stood frozen, the acrid smell of burning wood clawing at her throat. Sparks popped and crackled, orange embers swirling around her like fireflies. A toppled sign near the porch read, "No trespassing," in faded paint. Lily didn't know who lived here, only that the fire felt wrong, deliberate even. Her heart thudded in her ears. She thought of running back to the road to find help, but her feet wouldn't move. The cabin's roof groaned and collapsed inward with a shower of sparks. Something flickered behind one of the cracked windows. She blinked. Was it just a reflection of the flames or someone moving inside? She strained her ears. Through the roar of the fire came another sound, faint at first, like the wind. Then it came again, unmistakable, a voice. "Help!" The word was weak, muffled, but real. Lily's stomach dropped. Her eyes darted to the front porch. The door was shut tight, smoke curling from the edges of the frame. She took a hesitant step forward, then another, her sneakers crunching on gravel. The voice came again, louder this time, as if calling directly to her. "Please, someone—" She froze halfway across the clearing. She had no phone, no adult with her, no plan, only the terrifying knowledge that a living person might be inside that burning cabin. The firelight painted everything in flickering orange and red. Even her own hands looked aflame. Lily thought of her mother's warnings never to go near trouble. She thought of the stories she'd heard about this cabin. Whispers of a hermit, a fugitive, a witch. None of them seemed real until now. But someone was definitely in there. Someone was calling for help. A gust of wind shifted the smoke, revealing the porch steps clearly for the first time. A small stuffed bear lay at the bottom, singed on one ear, the kind of toy a child might carry. Lily's throat tightened. Was there another kid inside? Was that who was calling? The voice came again, urgent now, almost panicked. "Help me!" Her body moved before her mind could catch up. She took another step, then another, until she was at the edge of the porch. Heat rolled over her like a wave, making her eyes water. She reached for the railing but yanked her hand back. The wood was scorching. She looked up at the door, smoke seeping out in thick ribbons. The fire roared louder, beams creaking as if the whole structure were alive and angry. She swallowed hard, tears cutting streaks through the soot on her cheeks. She wasn't supposed to be here. She wasn't supposed to do this. But if she turned away now, whoever was inside would die. Another crash from inside, a beam falling. The voice became a scream. Lily, her name. The person inside knew her name. She staggered back in shock. How could someone inside that cabin know who she was? She'd never been here before. She didn't even know who lived here. But the voice had called her name as clearly as if it were her own mother. She stared at the blazing doorway, smoke swirling like a living thing. Her heart pounded so hard she thought it might burst. For one brief, paralyzing second, she wondered if she was hallucinating, if the heat and smoke were making her hear things. Then the voice came one last time, desperate and commanding. "Lily, help me." And before she could think, before she could be afraid, she found herself reaching for the handle. The heat from the cabin grew unbearable. Little Anna shielded her eyes with her forearm, as glowing embers floated into the night like fireflies. Her breath came in short gasps. The smoke scratched her throat. She took one trembling step closer to the burning doorway. The voice she had heard was faint, like a memory, but it was there. A cry, a call for help. "Help, please!" Anna froze. Her mind raced. There shouldn't have been anyone inside. Her father had said the cabin was abandoned, a ruin from another time. But now she could swear someone was in there. She turned her head, scanning the dark pine forest around her. No one. Only the restless wind moving through the trees and the crackling of flames. The smell of scorched wood filled her nostrils. Another voice, clearer this time, echoed from inside. Anna. Anna, come. She staggered backward. How did whoever was inside know her name? She hadn't told anyone she would come to the old cabin tonight. She had snuck out after everyone at the foster home had gone to sleep. Her heart hammered against her ribs. This couldn't be real. And yet, through the door's blackened frame, she thought she saw movement. A pale shape, almost human. Stepping in and out of the firelight, Anna's knees nearly buckled. She wanted to run back to the path, to the safety of the gravel road and the faint glow of the town's street lamps. But another scream, hoarse and desperate, stopped her cold. "Please, don't leave me." It was the sound of a child. Anna's instincts, sharper than she ever realized, overrode her fear. She yanked off her jacket, wrapped it around her mouth and nose, and crouched low to the ground, just like she'd seen on safety videos at school. Every step forward brought an explosion of heat against her skin. The boards underfoot groaned. She crossed the threshold. Inside the cabin, the world became orange and black. Flames licked the rafters above. A beam crashed behind her, sending up a shower of sparks. She coughed, eyes watering. "Where are you?" she called. No answer, only the hiss of burning walls, then a whisper right next to her ear. "Behind you." Anna spun around, but nothing. Smoke coiled in every direction. She reached out a hand and felt a rough wooden post. Her foot struck something soft. She looked down. A small soot-covered doll lay on the floorboards, its glassy eyes reflecting the firelight. She bent and picked it up. The doll's head lolled to one side, and for a moment Anna swore it blinked. She gasped and dropped it. The whisper came again. "Follow me." A flicker of light darted through a doorway at the back of the cabin, a door she hadn't noticed before. Anna followed, ducking under collapsing beams, clutching her jacket over her mouth. Her eyes stung. Beyond the door was a narrow corridor, unburned like time had forgotten it. The noise of the fire dimmed. The air here was cool, heavy with dust instead of smoke. She hesitated, wiping tears and soot from her cheeks. This wasn't right. Cabins didn't have corridors like this. Yet ahead she heard the sound of a child crying. Anna's heart ached. She had spent years in homes where no one came when she cried. She couldn't turn back now. She crept forward. The corridor bent sharply, leading to a stairwell that plunged underground. A flickering lantern sat on the first step, its flame steady despite the lack of wind. Anna picked it up. The metal felt strangely cold. She descended, each step creaking under her sneakers. The cries grew louder, mixed now with something else. A low melodic humming like a lullaby her mother used to sing long ago. At the bottom of the stairs was a wooden door with iron hinges. Strange symbols had been carved into it, circles and spirals that seemed to move when she stared too long. Her fingers trembled as she reached for the handle. Before she could touch it, the door swung open by itself. A rush of cold air swept over her, carrying the scent of wet earth and something sweet like wildflowers. She stepped inside. The room beyond was impossibly large, bigger than the cabin above could ever hold. Its ceiling was lost in darkness. In the center stood a little girl, her back to Anna, hair the color of ash, wearing a white dress smudged with soot. "Are you okay?" Anna whispered. The girl turned slowly. Her face was pale, eyes a shimmering gray. She clutched the same doll Anna had found upstairs. "You came," the girl said. Her voice was soft, but it echoed, as if spoken in a cavern. Anna's mouth went dry. Who are you?" The girl tilted her head. "Don't you remember me?" Anna shook her head. The girl smiled sadly. "You left me here." A thunderous crash erupted above them. Dust rained from the ceiling. The flames were spreading even underground now, tongues of fire licking the edges of the room. Anna took a step forward, heart pounding. "I'm here to help you. Come with me." But the girl only backed away deeper into the shadows. "No, you must see first." The doll's eyes glowed faintly blue. The humming turned into words Anna almost understood, a language she had heard once in a dream. Suddenly images flashed before her eyes, memories she didn't remember making. A smaller cabin years ago, a fire, her mother shouting. A door closing. Anna gasped. The grey-eyed girl whispered, "We are not strangers." The floor trembled. The lantern in Anna's hand flickered and went out, plunging the room into darkness. Then, from somewhere behind her, a man's voice roared, "Anna!" "Get out!" She spun toward the sound, and saw a tall shadow, taller than any person, standing at the edge of the doorframe. Its eyes burned like coals. The girl screamed. Anna didn't know what to do. Run, stay! The cabin above was collapsing. The underground room was turning into a furnace. But the little girl in front of her was real. She could see the fear in her face. Anna reached out her hand. Come on! For the first time, the grey-eyed girl stepped forward. But as she did, the shadow at the doorway moved closer, stretching its arms like wings. The last thing Anna heard before the fire roared through the room was a single word from the girl's lips. Remember. Anna stumbled through the darkness, gripping the grey-eyed girl's hand so tightly her knuckles turned white. The roar of the fire above had faded into a low, distant thunder, but she could still taste the smoke on her tongue. Around them, the tunnel walls glistened with moisture, carved with strange spiraling symbols that pulsed faintly as if alive. With every step they took, another lantern flickered to life ahead of them, casting trembling shadows that danced along the stone. Where are we? Anna whispered, her voice hoarse. This is where they hid us, the girl murmured, eyes fixed forward. Where you forgot me. Anna's heart gave a painful jolt. I don't understand, I never... The girl's grip tightened. You will. They rounded a corner into a hall, lined with wooden panels, scorched black. Each panel bore a burned image, cabins on fire, children inside, doors barred. Anna stopped at one that looked too familiar. A cabin with crooked shutters, a toy truck in the yard. Her stomach lurched. It was the same cabin from her nightmares. You see now, the girl said quietly. Every fire leaves a mark. Anna wanted to ask more, but the corridor ended abruptly at an iron gate. Rust flaked beneath her fingers as she pushed it open. Beyond lay a cavernous chamber of mirrors, each taller than a person and rimmed in cracked silver. The air here was cold, heavy with the scent of damp earth. In every mirror, Anna saw herself, not as she was now, but at different ages. A toddler clutching a teddy bear, a 7-year-old hiding under a bed, a teenager staring blankly at a social worker. Some of the reflections pounded on the glass, mouths moving in silent screams. Anna staggered back. This isn't real, she whispered. The grey-eyed girl stepped in front of one mirror. Inside it, a tiny child with ash-colored hair sat curled in a corner, holding the soot-stained doll. Tears streaked her face. She raised her head and stared straight at Anna. That's me, Anna breathed. That's us, the girl corrected. The night of the fire, I never made it out. Images flooded Anna's mind, a door slamming, her mother's frantic hands pushing her through smoke, a twin voice crying behind her. She pressed her palms to her temples. No, you left me here, the girl said, not accusing, just sad. And something else found me. A tremor rippled through the chamber. The mirrors rattled, their surfaces shimmering like water. From the cracks seeped a black mist that curled around their feet. Anna reached out toward the mirror, holding the child. I didn't know, I didn't remember. The girl seized her wrist. It's coming. A low growl echoed from the far end of the chamber. The mist thickened, gathering into a shape, tall, hunched, with burning eyes like coals. The shadow from the doorway. It stretched its arms wide, wings of smoke unfurling. Anna's breath hitched. What is that? My keeper, the girl whispered. It feeds on what you forget. The shadow's many-layered voice rolled across the chamber. The debt is not paid. Anna stepped in front of the girl, heart pounding but chin lifted. She's coming with me, the shadow tilted its head. You cannot take what you left. Anna's fingers brushed a shard of broken glass lying at her feet. It glinted faintly with light. She picked it up, holding it like a blade. In its reflection, the shadow wasn't a monster at all, but a distorted version of herself, eyes hollow, mouth twisted. For a heartbeat, the chamber flickered between two realities, the burning cabin and this underground hall of mirrors. Anna could feel her pulse in her ears. She had a choice, run back into the tunnel and leave the girl behind, or face the thing she'd buried all these years. I'm not leaving her again, Anna said, voice trembling but firm. The shadow hissed, recoiling from the shard's reflection. The mirrors cracked louder, spiderweb lines racing across their surfaces. The little girl in the glass reached out a hand. Remember, she whispered, Anna grabbed the girl beside her and raised the shard higher, ready to smash every mirror if she had to. The chamber shuddered. Lanterns burst, plunging them into pulsing darkness. The shadow screamed, a sound like 1,000 forgotten voices, and surged toward them. Anna tightened her grip on the shard and the girl's hand. "We're getting out," she whispered, more to herself than anyone else. Then she swung. Glass exploded. Light flooded the chamber, and for the first time Anna felt the weight of memory rushing back into her like air after drowning. Light from the shattered mirrors seared the chamber like dawn breaking through a storm. Fragments of glass spun in mid-air, glowing as if alive, then fell and dissolved into mist. The black shape reeled back, its burning eyes dimming. Anna clutched the grey-eyed girl and stumbled toward the nearest archway, but the tunnel they'd come through was gone. Only a wall of smoke remained. Pulsing like a living thing, the shadow reformed in front of them. Taller now, its head brushing the unseen ceiling. Its voice rolled like distant thunder, layered with whispers Anna almost recognized as her own. "You cannot break what you agreed to forget." Anna's knees wobbled, but she raised the shard of mirror. "I never agreed to anything." The creature's eyes flared. "You were a child. You begged to be spared. You left her. I took her. I kept her so you could live." Each sentence came like a hammer blow, shaking dust from the walls. "Now you return. The bargain must be paid." Beside Anna, the grey-eyed girl, her twin, her lost self, straightened. "He lies," she said, voice steady. "He feeds on guilt." Anna swallowed hard. Memories fluttered at the edges of her mind. Flames, a hand pushing her, a scream cut off. She saw herself years later in foster homes, blaming herself but never daring to remember. The creature had been there all along, hiding in dreams. "What do you want?" Anna asked. The shadow tilted its head. "Stay, forget again. She is mine. You may leave and live alone, or stay and burn with her. Choose." The girl squeezed Anna's hand. "Don't listen. He can't hold us if you remember." Anna's breath came fast, her heart hammering. In the shard she saw not only the monster but herself, hollow, angry, afraid. The realization hit like cold water. The shadow wasn't a demon from outside. It was everything she'd locked away, fear, shame, memories of abandonment. A parasite born from trauma. She lowered the shard slightly. "Oh, you're not real," she said. "You're me." The shadow's outline flickered, its wings curling inward. "I am what keeps you safe." "No," Anna whispered, a tremor in her voice. "You're what keeps me small, all around them." The mirrors that still stood began to tremble, their surfaces rippling like water. Images of Anna at different ages pressed against the glass, mouths moving in silent pleas. She thought she heard her mother's voice calling her name, then fading. The creature lunged. Smoke slammed into Anna like a wave, knocking her to the floor. The shard skittered away across the stone. The girl cried out, trying to pull Anna up. "Fight it!" Anna shut her eyes. "If you're me, then you're not stronger than me." She thought of every moment she'd survived since that night, the loneliness, the fear, the determination that had kept her alive. She opened her eyes and they were dry now. "No more tears, I'm taking her back," she said clearly. The shadow hissed, its form unraveling at the edges. "Then remember it all," it snarled. "Remember the fire. Remember her screams. Remember your mother shutting the door." The words stabbed through Anna, but instead of collapsing, she inhaled them. She let the images come, the heat, the smoke, the sight of her twin trapped inside, the guilt. They hurt, but they were hers. And with every memory, she claimed, the shadow shrank. She reached for the shard. It flew into her palm as if drawn there. Light blossomed from the cracks, flooding the chamber. The grey-eyed girl glowed too, her outline solidifying. She looked at Anna and smiled. A mirror, but alive. "Together," the girl whispered. "Together," Anna echoed. They stood side by side, facing the shadow. It was no taller than them now, its burning eyes dim embers. It hissed, retreating toward the wall of smoke that had been the exit. Anna and the girl stepped forward as one, holding the shard high. The wall dissolved, revealing a stairwell spiraling upward, faint daylight at its top. Behind them, the last mirror shattered, releasing a rush of cold wind that blew the shadow apart like ashes. Anna didn't look back. She tightened her grip on her twin's hand and stepped onto the first stair. For the first time since entering the cabin, she felt the weight lifting from her chest. But the heat rising from below told her the fire hadn't finished yet. They still had to escape. Anna's lungs burned as she pulled her twin up the spiral stair. The stone steps were slick with soot, glowing faintly from the fire spreading below. Each heartbeat echoed like a drum. She could feel the heat chasing them, a living wall of flame devouring the underground chamber they had just left. Above, a pale circle of light grew larger with every step. Dawn, or freedom, or both. "Don't stop," Anna gasped. "I'm not afraid anymore," the grey-eyed girl replied, her voice stronger now. Together they climbed. Behind them the last echo of the shadow howled, a thin, fading wail like a child lost in a storm. The stairs trembled under its weight and then stilled, as if the nightmare had finally loosened its hold. They burst through a wooden hatch and fell onto the forest floor. Cold morning air slapped Anna's face. She coughed hard, tasting ash, but it was clean air at last. Above the trees the sky was streaked with orange and pink. The sun was rising. The cabin they had entered hours ago was now a blackened skeleton, flames curling up its last beams before collapsing inward. Anna rolled onto her back, staring at the sky. For a moment she felt the earth spinning beneath her, like she might drift off into the clouds. The grey-eyed girl knelt beside her, brushing soot from her cheek. "You did it," the girl whispered. "You remembered." Anna reached up, fingers trembling, and touched her twin's face. It was warm now, not ghost cold. "I'm sorry," she said. "I didn't know I left you." "You were a child," the girl said softly. "But now we're whole." As she spoke, her outline shimmered. Light poured from her chest into Anna's hand, not burning but soft and golden. The girl smiled, leaned forward and pressed her forehead to Anna's. "Take me back." Anna closed her eyes. The warmth surged through her like a heartbeat. When she opened them again, the girl was gone, not vanished but inside. She could feel her twin's presence, calm and steady, where the emptiness used to be. In the distance, sirens wailed. Red and blue lights flickered between the trees. Firefighters and medics were rushing toward the clearing. One of them shouted when he saw her, sprinting with a blanket. Anna tried to sit up, but her legs wobbled. Hands caught her, wrapping her in warmth, guiding her toward an ambulance. She turned her head one last time. The cabin gave a final groan and collapsed entirely, sending up a tower of sparks. For a heartbeat she saw a shape in the smoke, not the monster, but her mother's silhouette, watching, smiling, then fading with the ash. Inside the ambulance, a medic checked her pulse. "You're lucky to be alive," he said. Anna managed a weak smile. "I'm not just alive," she whispered. "I'm not alone." As the doors closed, she felt her twin's voice inside her mind, and soft but sure, "We're whole. We survived." Tears slid down Anna's cheeks, but they were not tears of guilt this time. She looked at the rising sun through the rear window. The nightmare had burned away, but its memory would guide her now, not haunt her. She would tell the story, not bury it. Far off, a faint breeze stirred the ashes where the cabin had stood. In the swirling smoke, a child's laughter drifted for an instant, light and free. Anna closed her eyes and held the sound close. The road ahead was long, but for the first time she felt strong enough to walk it. The sirens faded into the hum of the tires. The sky brightened, and somewhere deep inside 2 heartbeats kept time as one.